All right, so you've just completed the worksheet. Great. Now let's go through some possible situations that you may have written down and talk about the best phrases to use to sound natural and polite or friendly when clearing up misunderstandings. Let's start with a situation that is more casual. So, for example, let's say we are speaking with a friend in a really laid-back setting, and they say something that we do not understand. You could use the phrase, "I'm not sure I follow you," to indicate that you don't understand what they are saying. This is a colloquial or casual speech expression that just indicates the meaning has been lost for us. It is great to use with family or friends or in any kind of informal setting. Another phrase that you can use in this kind of situation is, "Sorry, I didn't catch that." This just means, again, I didn't really understand or hear you, and you are indicating to the speaker they should probably repeat themselves. This catch and follow that we used in the previous phrase, these are both words that are used in a kind of metaphor to show that we're not grasping, we're not grabbing onto the meaning of this sentence, and thus they sound really natural and native-like because we are adding these kinds of casual metaphors in our phrases. Okay, now let's think about a more formal situation. So maybe you are in a business meeting or you are speaking with a client and they say something that, again, you do not understand. You could say something like, "I'm not quite sure that I know what you mean." Now, hear that this sounds very different to if you just said, "I don't know what you mean." This "not quite sure" adds a much softer, gentler tone to the sentence, so it sounds a lot less harsh or direct than simply saying, "I don't know what you mean." Politeness is one of the most important factors in our speaking when we are in a professional context or in a more sensitive situation. So keep this technique in mind of indirect speaking, and we will touch on it much more as the course progresses. Another phrase that we could use in the same business situation is, "Sorry, I don't fully understand." Adding "sorry," of course, instantly makes it more polite, but also saying "fully" has a similar function to "quite" that we used in the previous phrase. Both of these words are quantifiers, and so they are showing that instead of just saying "I don't understand," this "I don't fully understand" adds this softness again, this more gentle and thus polite tone. So using quantifiers is another technique that we can use to make sure that our language remains polite. So take a look at your worksheet now and look again at the situation that you have written down for yourself. Identify whether this situation is a more casual or a more formal situation, and then see which of the phrases that we just went through now are the most appropriate for this situation, or which you feel the most comfortable using. Remember, language needs to sound like a part of our identity, so always choosing the words that sound the most like something you would say is very important. That's another way to speak more naturally. So now that you know which phrase you would use for this situation, when it does happen again, you will know exactly what to say. Remember to download the recap document that is attached to this lecture to recap or remember all of the phrases that we have just learned. Well done! You have officially completed the first lesson of content for this course, and you have already learned 4 new phrases as well as 2 new techniques to use in order to make your language sound more polite. Keep going, because in the next section we will cover situations where you are not understood by others and the best phrases to use to clarify what you are trying to say.